Be a pretty special thing to have one of the factory Porsche teams come out, and certainly Craig, who does a lot of Porsche racing all the way around the world, has some connections at Porsche. So, you know, Porsche will be taking notice that Audi have come out and you know, putting on a pretty good show. And as this 12-hour event starts to gain a bit of notoriety around the world, having a factory Porsche team would be fantastic. Be good to be part of.
$370,000 starting price for these kind of cars, plus as we go to Grant.
Just a bit of housekeeping to bring you up to date with the 26 car is just about to have its final driver change. Richard Gartner's about to hop in. I had a chat to Richard and said, look, are you comfortable where you're at? Are you going to go and get this car to the finish line? He says, mate, I'm used to racing in 24-hour races. We're not even at the halfway mark in my view. And I'm not joking, that's exactly what he said.
How are you feeling in the car?
Yeah, no, it's good. I could do another few bloody 100 miles.
Well, you might run out of fuel before that, but you can probably do another couple of laps.
One that bothers me is that bloody Ferrari. He doesn't give you any space and squeezes you everywhere when he passes you.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll throw something at him as he goes past.
Sounds like Bruce Tomlinson at the wheel there, the Kiwi car 26, and I guess the reference there before is as a result of the earlier contact involving Hector Lester's Ferrari and the car of Paul Stubber. So that's uppermost in their mind. For Audi, it's the battle between the leading cars. Okay, pit stops happening for both of them. Both of them will be pitting here now. Remember, it's a compulsory scenario. Look at the way that Luff is attacking, trying to regain as many tenths as he can on the entry to pit lane. This is close.
Well, you remember that 90 seconds starts when the car crosses the line on the entrance to pit lane. So Luffy was there trying to make up as much room as he could so that their 90 seconds was as close to the 90 seconds of the 8 car.
Okay, so Darryl O'Young will do the final stint, in fact, for the lead car, and it looks as though Lowndes will be getting into the Australian entry, we're told. Indeed he is. There's Craig in the background. O'Young, more recently, has been competing in the Independence Cup in the World Touring Car Championship. Look at them, nose to tail. Oh, sideways coming out of pit lane. That's been costly for O'Young on the cold tyres. And Lowndes pounces. In the meantime, the VIP car is already heading up Mountain Straight, having unlapped itself, if you like, but it's only a narrow margin that they enjoy.
Well, they're only unlapped themselves by basically just being in front. They're still 7/8 of a lap, if you like, behind the lead Audis. And Darryl O'Young flicked the pit limiter off. Here we go. We'll see it from Lowndes' car. And actually does make contact with the wall. I reckon that's the first time Lowndes had to go around a spun car on pit exit before, but if they get away with that, they're very lucky boys.
Mark Basseng to the left of your screen, Christopher Mees to the right as Warren Luff. The eager eyes of Warren Luff look on. They jumped, as you can see, on the Altenzo GT3 outright class leaders. We have a new one as a result of that pit incident. No changes for B, C and D, but E-Class, that's up for grabs still. We have a look at the outright positions, and Lowndes, Luff and Eddie are back on top from O'Young, Basseng and Mees. And of course, Walcrick and Moore hoping to snatch that final spot on the podium. Back for the final critical part of this race. Let's go to Grant.
Yeah, just looking at Chris Lingington's price bringing the Lotus up into the pit garage. They're about to make a pit stop on board with Stuart, the crewman at the moment, who's helping this 6'5" pilot out of a Lotus Elise. It's not pretty, but it is effective as Richard Mead hops in behind the wheel. Well, he's out of the car, but he had to do it the hard way, and we're riding with Stuart at the moment as part of our coverage.
Little race car, but he's not the ideal dimensions for it, though, is he? A bit like yourself.
Operative word being little race car. You see here, through these great cameras, sunglass cameras, we can see the driver change taking place and how the the attendant does the belts for the driver. It's very hard to see down to where your harness is, and you do end up getting very close and personal to some of your pit crew while this is taking place, but certainly that's the quickest way to get the job done.
A spy cam giving you a unique look right up close inside some of the activity in pit lane today on track. That's where the focus is. Craig Lowndes leads the way, but looking at some of the numbers here, we believe there's another stop to come for this car. How will it shake out relative to the international car? And here it is in the hands of Darryl O'Young. And this is just nerves, you would think, at this stage of the game.
Well, I think Darryl's pushing on. He knows that he lost the race lead after flicking the pit limiter off and having a bit of moment at pit exit, and Craig's out the front pushing on as hard as he can as we see him now come to pit lane.
Let's listen here.
To keep the gap to Wall. I don't think we're going to catch the two guys in front. Like Lowndes has actually done a new lap record. He's done a couple of 9s. They're just leaning on it really hard. But yeah, we're not going to catch them until they've been it. So we basically need a safety car to stay in it.
So that's the crew radio to Craig Baird from the VIP team, and we see now Lowndes in pit lane, and this is where I think he has to make an extra stop, because when he had his puncture, there wasn't that 10-lap window between his 2 pit stops, so he has to make what's essentially an extra pit stop. And that could be game over for these guys in terms of the race, when they still may have enough margin up their sleeve to stay in front of the VIP car, but it would certainly help the internationals. Certainly will. So this is going to be your full 90-second stop. So when they did that puncture, they took 90 seconds then as well. So it didn't count because it was within 10 laps of his previous pit stop. So a bit of track position was lost there early, and it could bite them later in the race. Yeah, that's what we certainly believe has happened. Update on that lap record situation coming into this event. Here's more radio from the VIP team.
Lowndes has stopped in the pits for his final stop, so you've just gone past him. But yeah, obviously we have to make 2 more.
So that gets back to the earlier discussion we had about the need for the VIP team to complete their mandatory 12 stops and do it within the time frame of the race. So they're borderline in terms of being able to achieve that by the sounds of things. They sound confident. They're in now in order to achieve that. Hard luck for the Kountouris brothers and for Steve Owen there a moment ago. Craig Baird will stay at the wheel of that car. Just an update on that earlier situation lap record-wise. Can you believe it? The old lap record was held by Terry Bosanjak, a 2-minute 27.11 way back in 1997 in the 12-hour. It's taken until this race, 2011, to eclipse that old mark, and they've been doing sort of 2:10s all day. The Audi's looking very strong indeed. So the VIP team, the reality. Unfortunately, that strategy, that cunning plan that Tony talked about this morning may not have come to fruition. Well, even right at this morning, almost 12 hours ago, Tony Quinn said then, we're lucky he got everything crossed, Tony Quinn said then, we need a safety car pretty much right away. And I reckon if they had that safety car right away, they would have been right back in pit lane, and that would have been their pit stops done. Clark Quinn said in the middle of the day they lost the pit stop as well with the way safety car Mark Eddy got everything crossed. Is there anything not crossed in the pit, Audi pits? We'll see the Smolin Porsche have a moment at the end of Conrod Straight there, or the beginning of pit straight. Getting back underway, no harm, no foul. So strategy, although 12 hours, I think got plenty of time to do 12 pit stops, it doesn't seem like we get to the last hour and everyone's cramming. This is going to be a new race record in terms of the amount of laps completed and the total amount of kilometres as well. Will give you that final mark after they cross the line, but it's looking good now for Daryl O'Young. He just needs to keep it together, along with Mark Basseng, who drove the Audi R8 LMS 6 times last year. He's already contested the 24-hour race at Nürburgring twice with this model Audi, the 32-year-old. O'Young is 30 years of age, Canadian-born, Hong Kong-based. That was Basseng. There's Christopher Mees. Hasn't he done a terrific job today too? Rookie of the Year in the FIA GT3 Championship. And there's Class B. That's a stellar effort for this team. Really, they've come here and executed the plan perfectly. That's what you needed to do to take the class win. Hopefully they can just bring it over the line. Certainly, they came here with the plan to finish the race, and if they keep doing what they're doing, they'll finish inside the top 5, and I reckon those guys will be ecstatic with that. And that's another crew that's we can, I guess, mirror the comment for. And these boys, after all the drama of 2010, their unhappiness, they've come here with a car that's well sorted. They've kept it off the curbs, they've kept it clean and tidy, and they look like winning the production car class today. Mark Brame, Anthony Robson and Peter Conroy, the car owner, who's of course behind the wheel for the final stint. We spoke to him there before. It's just been a brilliant weapon all day, hasn't it? Certainly has. And Class E, we've seen this battle playing out all day. You would have thought that based on pure speed that the little Astra with the Racer Industries guys behind the wheel would have won the race hands down, but 12-hour racing is all about getting to the end with no dramas, and we've seen this BMW go round and round and round and round, and here it is leading the class with a few minutes to go. So great job by the 26 crew. The entries, or the organisers, have entries available to all sorts of different makes. They even allow, if you wanted to, V8 utes to contest or to compete in the field, and they've opened it, I guess, as we wait for this final stop now. Time-wise, though, it should be enough for Young to come back out in front of Lowndes. Lowndes is chasing hard, though, judging by the lap times. We heard the boys talk before there at VIP about the new lap record, so he is on the hunt here. And if there's anyone, you know, particularly when they're in it with a sniff of a chance, Lowndes really latches onto those opportunities and goes for it.
He certainly does. You'll have the eyes on here. He won't be happy that he's had to make an extra pit stop. And this stop looks like it's more a splash and dash. So obviously the 8 car had got its 12 compulsory 90-second pit stops done, and just needs a bit of a splash and dash to get the job done and get home. So we see it come out just behind the VIP car. And they've always been on the tail end of that lead lap for the last couple of hours now, never really been able to get around and get onto common terms with the 2 Audis. You see Lowndes here just a mountain straight away from the race lead, so you needn't think that Craig Lowndes is going to lay down here. Certainly I would have thought the Audis would probably be a little happier that the Germans win the race, but we know what Craig's like when he gets the eyes on.